It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Yep, you guessed it, a cup of coffee with Will and Chris. It's that time. Once again, another big-time show today. This good-looking guy right here is Uncle Chris.
That's what they call the money maker right there.
Yeah, baby, the money maker. I'm Wild Will, and it's time for a cup of coffee right here at Slumberland at the lake. We have a follow-up from the big headline that took over all media outlets over the last couple of weeks with a casino potentially coming to Lake of the Ozarks with the Osage Nation out of Oklahoma. We also have a big story, Lake Regional, officially mandating all staff, employees, doctors have to be vaccinated come January. Pretty crazy there. We'll talk about that. Pretty excited to announce a partnership between Lake TV and Lake Expo with the weekly Lake of the Ozarks sports update. This guy right here does it. We'll tell you about that. CUMC has a couple of new doctors and football. Chris, this was the craziest football Sunday we've had this year, and that didn't seem possible coming into this weekend.
It's amazing. We're so close in our picks. I mean, even with all the upsets this week, we had a three-way tie again.
Third straight week.
Amazing, yeah.
You, Andrew, and myself have tied for first place.
This is a moneymaker right here.
For this week?
This week's picks.
Feel pretty
right there,
good?
baby. Yeah.
Well, it can't get any worse than we were last week, man. We were rough, but what a crazy week. The Chiefs do get their second consecutive win. May not have been pretty, but 5-4, you'll take it as a Chiefs fan. So before we can get into all of this and give you the rundown, we owe you this message from our friends at Slumberland.
Hey guys, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. November is on its way in, and that means Thanksgiving. We've got a ton of dining tables here ready to go that you can come, gather your family around, and have a great Thanksgiving. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture at the Lake, where we're bringing happy home.
All right, so before we get into this week's local headlines, I got to give some love to Slumberland because, I got my new bed and I was having a hard time getting adjusted. Unique was having a hard time getting adjusted, and we thought, okay, we're going to have to return it. And I felt bad reaching out to Daryl and the crew saying, hey, we need to try something different. They were all about it. They were like, no, we have the good night's sleep guarantee. We want to get you in the right mattress. Well, it turns out we were a little premature. We're starting to get adjusted and starting to get a good night's sleep on that new bed. But that customer service, you make a purchase like that, no questions asked. They want you to be on the right bed. Just goes to show their level of commitment to you getting a good night's rest. And, the good way of doing business that you knew growing up is fewer and far between nowadays. But Slumberland here at the lake, customer service, your satisfaction is number one.
They're amazing, absolutely amazing. And you're right, that is so key. In our crazy world today, in a lot of places, customer service has gone out the window. They don't really care about the customer. Here, they still care about the customer. It's really cool.
Yeah, heck yeah. Just amazing people here at Slumberland, and it starts at the top. Our good friend Jill Ray, Daryl Cunningham, and we're getting excited because you had the Martins on for the Community Spotlight that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. You could see that on Lake TV.
Jane and Scotty from Scott's Concrete.
Yeah, the Martins, and I was sorry, I say Martins just thinking everyone knows who they are.
They probably do.
They got their Homes for the Holidays program coming up. We'll tell you about that over the next few weeks because that's a huge program. We love getting to cover it and see what Jill and Scotty and their crews do. So love the folks here at Slumberland. Come down and see them right here in Osage Beach. So our first headline, it was the biggest headline we've had in recent memory. You heard it last week.
What a year it's been for news here, man. And it just keeps on coming. Man.
Right.
Yeah.
A casino coming to the lake and, just announcing that season 4 of Ozark is about to debut in early January. So you've seen Ray Speckman's book, Conspiracy at the Lake, been released over the last couple of months and has been very popular with the locals. And add into the cap of casino headlines, heck, the lake might actually be getting a casino. And when that headline broke, the reactions were so mixed, but it was the only thing people were talking about. And so a few things we wanted to follow up with on things you need to know. So According to a news release posted to the Osage Nation website, Osage Nation out of Oklahoma is the reserve or the tribe that is proposing this entertainment complex. There are multiple hurdles that are going to have to happen before they could build this casino. Now, first, the land must be in a trust status with the federal government, and a gaming compact must be in place with the state of Missouri, neither of which has happened, and both of those could take years to accomplish. Currently, Chris, there are no Indian reservations in Missouri, and so the plan is, or the proposed plan would be that the Osage Nation, they put in for a treaty to be their own sovereign nation, and then they would not need to have that land on an Indian reservation. So that would lift that. Now, there's a few other things. I told you they have to purchase the land. It's going to have to be put into a trust by the nation, by the Department of Interior, whatever that means. That's not happened yet. The nation must negotiate a compact with the state dividing responsibilities for law enforcement, and they must establish a taxation by Indian tribe of such activity that amounts to a comparable to the amounts that would be assessed by state for comparable activity. So all these rules and regulations and things. Now, Governor Parsons or his successor would have to approve this compact by federal law. The tribes have the right to offer gambling that mirrors what the state allows for any purpose by any person, organization, or entity. Meaning, if there's other gambling going on by non-tribes, they then have to be allowed to do the same thing as long as it is comparable. Now, if the state were to refuse to negotiate this compact or does not do so in good faith with the Osage Nation tribe, the tribe then may sue the state in federal court. And so, a lot of things going on here, and I did want to get a feel from our locals because, you know, there's so many people posting, talking about it, and I asked what were the top 3 pros and top 3 cons in the opinions of locals. Now, the top 3 pros were year-round tourism, got that, year-round jobs, makes sense, and revenue for the area. Now, when people say revenue for the area, it's not going to be tax dollars, obviously, because they're exempt from that being their own sovereign nation. So this should this come to fruition. So it would come in the form of an annual or yearly gift they would give that would be predetermined prior to this coming to fruition. However, other revenue for people coming to the casino, they would eat, they would shop, they would do different things, and not just in this entertainment complex. Because when I go to Boonville, you know, I don't just go to the casino and stay there. We typically stop somewhere else to eat. We'll typically do something in Boonville while we're there. So other people could see benefits, and those were the 3 pros. Now, the 3 cons that a lot of people had concerns, a couple of which we had discussed, were increased traffic to the area. Absolutely. You saw already.
No doubt.
The traffic in this area is overwhelming. Lack of employees and housing, another great point. And then the one con that was said by many of people that I didn't necessarily agree to is crime and gambling addiction. People will be, you know, pissing away their paycheck, if you will, is what people said. And I don't know if that would be a con, because it'd be like bars, having bars. Well, people are going to be alcoholics, and you know, if that's there, you're going to have the option to go there, but you're not forced. So those were the top 3 pros, and those were the top 3 cons. Now, because of our ignorance in this matter, we are going to be talking with the chairman of the Missouri Gaming Commission, Mike Lira, next week on the show, talking about some of these concerns, talking about how the Missouri Gaming Commission feels, because they've already got their 13 casinos. They will not be the governing body that will oversee this casino, but I do want to find out from the Missouri Gaming Commission what this means, and also ask, do they think in areas where there's casinos, is there an increased crime? Do you have problems with employees and housing? And some of those issues that he would be better fit. But man, how exciting to see this headline with, like you said, all these other huge headlines we've had this year. This one has got people talking. And Chris, when you look at those top 3 pros and top 3 cons, what do you think? Do you agree with those 3 or on both sides?
Yeah, I think that's pretty close. You know, and that's going to be the debate. You know, is it worth having the pros, or is it worth having the cons to bring in the casino for the pros? And I'm guessing the ultimate answer to that will be yes, you know, if everything can be taken care of legally. But this would be the first time the Osage Nation has left Oklahoma.
Right.
So they're trying something new here.
Yeah.
They don't know if this is going to work out or not. They're kind of testing the waters to see if it works in Missouri, if it works here at the lake. They'll be going a lot of places.
Right. And they have 7 now in Oklahoma. Right?
Yeah. And there was a really nice map that was in, I believe it was Lake News Online, of the casino that they have at the facility in Tulsa, which is probably very similar to what they would do here. They also showed you the footprint of where the casino would be across the street, like from Menards there on the Parkway. So that was pretty cool. And Mayor Dennis Newberry, along with a lot of city officials, have met with Osage Nation. They're kind of taking a wait and see approach. They leave the door open, kind of see how all this filters out. I think everybody is kind of proceeding, because this is so new, to see if they get shut down or if doors start to swing open and things happen. It'll be very interesting. And I know you've already talked to some of the folks with the Indian Nation and represent them to kind of see what they're thinking. So it's going to be fascinating to see where this goes. It's not going to be fast. Probably take at least a year or two. But I think in that year or two, we'll see progress or we'll see it get shut down, one or the other.
Yeah, just the trust process is a year to get that land into a trust, and that in itself is a year process. So I say we're looking at 2 to 5 years minimum, but these early phases, a lot of questions, a lot of things to be determined, and so we're going to be asking those questions, trying to keep you guys updated and informed what this could mean for the lake area. Okay, another huge local headline, just crazy.
Yep.
You almost saw it coming.
Yep.
Especially
knew it was coming.
Yeah, we knew it was coming, especially from this healthcare provider. But Lake Regional officially announces a vaccine mandate for their entire staff.
Yep.
This coming in the form of a letter or 2 letters from outgoing CEO Dane Henry, meaning if you are a staff member, whether it's a nurse, doctor, office administrator, a volunteer at the hospital, you must be vaccinated completely or your employment will be terminated. And that's where the world's going. What are your initial reactions to this?
I think this is another step toward socialism. Basically, it's the government telling the people what they have to do. You're going to lose your job if you don't let us stick a needle in you and jab you here. That's basically the bottom line to this. So you mentioned company-wide email sent November 4th. Dane Henry informed the staff that a new rule from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services was essentially forcing the staff at Lake Regional to get the vaccine. And it's interesting because then they go on to say this agency, the CMS agency, will not hesitate to use its full enforcement authority to come down and start firing people in the hospital. And Dane Henry goes on to say, that he acknowledged there may be staff who would rather lose their jobs than get the vaccine. But he said non-compliance would put our entire organization, about 1,500 jobs, in jeopardy. That's from Dane Henry, talking if they don't toe the line from this governmental agency, then the governmental agency could come in and fire everybody on staff, right? So that's the decision apparently that Dane Henry and the hospital board have made, that we're going to cow to the government because we don't want to lose the jobs,
and I think that's because, like you said, if Lake Regional didn't make this decision, this government agency could come in and shut down the hospital completely, and then what good are they doing our community? I will say I liked what Dane Henry ended with in his second letter about the importance of independent choice and what's best for you and yourself. I did like that he put that in there because the connotations early in the letter kind of frustrated me. I was glad to see it come full circle towards the end. And
I see it as talking out both sides of his mouth. It's like a politician. Talk one way and the next way in the same sentence, right? So basically, in his second letter, he said, most of the questions I've received relate to religious or medical exemptions and whether non-vaccination would be considered resignation or termination. We're currently reviewing all that. He does say non-compliance would put our entire organization, about 1,500 jobs, in jeopardy. And then he says, I respectfully acknowledge, this is where he's talking out both sides of his mouth. in my opinion. He says, I respectfully acknowledge this may be a career-defining moment, meaning you could lose your job, as you consider your options. Please know this. The board and your leadership team deeply respect your individual freedom and the rights we hold as sacred Americans. Obviously not, because he's forcing them to leave. Right. So he's talking out both sides of his mouth. And again, I kind of understand where he's coming from, because he's being forced, he's being dictated to by the government. You do this or else. So as a business, what do? Do you fight that? At some point, Americans are going to have to fight this. They're going to have to stand up against this. Apparently, Lake Regional is not willing to do that. We'll see if a lot of staff at Lake Regional are willing to do that. Apparently, I've heard numbers that 50% of the staff will leave.
I'm telling you right now, Chris, what you're seeing happen in this country with things like this, you're going to start seeing way more doctors go out on their own.
Yeah.
We're already seeing an incredibly large amount of doctors leaving hospitals and healthcare providers to start their own practice. And we're working on a pretty exclusive piece with a local doctor. And things I'm finding out, Chris, we are just scratching the surface of what the whole end game goal is for this COVID-19 and these, I don't even want to call them vaccinations, because they're not. I'd say them injections or sticks or shots. But I got this reference from this doctor, Dr. Jenny Powell, and she said the vaccinated complaining that the non-vaccinated are a risk to them is like a smoker saying people that don't smoke cigarettes are a risk to their health because they're non-smokers. And I thought about that for a second, and I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's essentially what's happening. But just scratching the surface, this is something we're going to keep a close eye on. And stay tuned, because we have, like I said, a very exclusive piece we're working on with Dr. Jenny Powell. And we're going to find out what you guys probably don't know that you think you might about COVID-19.
And also remember that Dane Henry is leaving. He's stepping down as CEO. So, he can do pretty much whatever he wants to do. There's not going to be any retribution against him, because he's gone anyway.
I thought you were just saying that to make me a little happy, to be like, hey, as bad as it is, I do remind you, Dane Henry's on his way out.
But the question is, who's going to replace him?
Right.
And is that person who's going to replace him going to represent the community and stand for the community, or going to continue to kowtow to the government because the government's demanding you do this, or we're going to come in like a Russia, like a USSR, and dictate what you have to do. Pretty scary times.
For sure.
At some point, Americans, we're going to have to step up against this.
Yeah, and I'm going to be reaching out to some doctors, try to talk with some of them and see what their plans are now that they're faced with this very, very tough decision. All right, next story. Lake TV partners with Lake Expo for the daily Lake of the Ozarks sports update with this guy, Uncle Chris. Pretty cool. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, I've done sports all my career. I've done sports longer than you've been alive, right? So
you started when you were 2. That's the only reason why.
So I've been doing sports for 40 years or so and stuff like that. So KB, who does a show here on Lake TV, What's Burning with KB, at 7, 5, and 11 p.m. So KB asked me to do a sportscast for his radio show on Key Radio, which I'm doing. And then I said, well, as long as I'm doing that, I might as well see if Lake Expo wants a sportscast, and they did. So we're doing a sportscast for both of them now. So you can listen to KB in the morning and get the sportscast, or you can just go online. I don't think it's on the app on Lake Expo. I think you have to go online to get the sportscast there.
But I'm telling you, go find it, because it's worth it. It's way better than anything that's on locally on any of the radio stations for sports. I might be a little biased, but this guy's an award-winning sports director from CBS in Dallas, so you don't want to mess with that. You can catch his daily sports update Monday through Friday at lakeexpo.com to find that. Another story, CUMC welcomes 2 new doctors to the Central Ozarks Medical Center family. The first is Dr. Michael Kirkover, and he is offering family care, OB, and sports medicine in Camdenton. He is the only OB in Camdenton. That is Dr. Michael Kirkover.
What is an OB?
That is babies.
Oh, okay.
So that is babies, things like that. Birth, I don't know. I can't really call Dr. Kirkover a birth mother, but OB is babies. Very good.
Hey, maybe he identifies as one, maybe.
Yeah, I found out the hard way. Also, welcome Dr. Whitney Klein, who is a pediatrician, and she'll be in Osage Beach with Central Ozarks Medical Center. Both doctors taking new patients. Again, that's Dr. Michael Kirkover, Family Care, OB, and Sports Medicine in Camdenton, and Dr. Whitney Klein, the pediatrician in Osage Beach, providing pediatric care. And like I said, both taking new patients. So you want to reach out to Central Ozarks Medical Center and get on the list with them. All right, cool local story. Got to make it quick here, but a crazy catch took place. And when you say Lake Expo called it the unicorn of the river, 1 in a million. Well, that's darn close to being accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a rarity, this fish that was caught.
You got to see this thing, man. It's really cool. So this guy reels in a strange-looking creature, right? He's out fishing, catches something, reels it in. I mean, it looked like an alien or something, right? That
Yeah.
he pulled this thing in. It's a what they call a slimy, whiskered, black and white piebald blue catfish, right? And they've actually kept the statistics on this at how rare this is. In a 17-year period ending in 2014, the team only found 2 of these piebald specimens out of over 22,000, right? How about that? So the guy catches him, fries him right up, and dinner, baby. No, he let him go. He put him back.
Yeah, he let him go immediately, but he said he could not believe his eyes. Just crazy. Chad Hester was the fisherman that caught this 36-pound alien beauty.
36 pounds.
Isn't that insane?
Wow.
I couldn't even lift that.
No, me neither.
So, and we love seeing these. We've seen some crazy catches, some state records, some rarities, and this no different. The unicorn of the river, as our friends at Lake Expo like to put it. Okay, on to sports. The Camdenton Lakers, their season came to an end Friday at Lebanon. You'll remember week 7 this season, Lebanon beat them 33-14. Well, it was very similar. Lebanon won Friday 35-14. Camdenton's season comes to a close. Lebanon will be playing Glendale Friday in the district championship. And you'll remember Camdenton's probably win of the year was over Glendale in that second half comeback. And Coach Shore, although his season's over, he is chipper as ever, and you can catch him as he recaps the season with Uncle Chris on the Lake Area Coaches Show. Of course, that is 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. You can watch that right now through Friday on Lake TV. All right, on to the NFL, Chris. The Chiefs get back on track. It may not have been pretty, but on a weekend that sees the Cowboys lose to the Broncos, the Bills lose to the Jaguars, just some crazy games. No one is really separating themselves. You'll take a win, even if it is at home against the Packers, who did not have Aaron Rodgers. Chiefs, winners of 2 in a row. They go to 5-4. And hey, they're going to get a big game next Sunday night at the Raiders, who the Raiders lost the Giants.
I know, it's crazy.
Is this the craziest week in football?
That Raiders team is starting to self-destruct now, man. I tell you what, some of those players are getting thrown off the team just because they're being stupid.
Well, Henry Ruggs first,
Yep.
with the fatal DUI, just a heartbreaking situation.
Yep.
And then Arnett, their other first-round pick from 2020, they showed the video of him threatening someone's life, had a gun, waving it around, and he had already been in some hot water with the team, and they drafted him. Mike Mayock, the general manager for the Raiders, said he probably missed on this one. They do all this research, all these background checks, character checks, and they thought they were going to be able to help this kid. Well, no, they cut him as well. So although they won, too, after John Gruden was fired or released or resigned, it does look like the Raiders have their work cut out for them, going to try to overcome all of these off-the-field issues. I really feel in this? Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah, me too. He's a great guy, really great guy.
Great Christian.
Good quarterback, yeah.
Good quarterback, and so gracious and graceful. When Henry Ruggs, everything happened, he said he needs love right now. It's a hard stance to take when the guy just killed somebody, but is it not what Jesus does for us, whether we kill somebody or not? And Derek Carr, just unbelievable, and he's having a pretty decent year at this point in time. All right, so on to our Week 9 NFL picks and recaps. Boy, last week, again, a 3-way tie between you, Andrew, and myself. We
Yep.
all go 8-6. we get 8 points plus our 1 bonus point. And then Ricky in the cellar, 6 and 8. He gets 6 points. So your updated standings, you and Andrew with 100. I've got 94, 6 points back, and Ricky at 83. And it's time for this week's picks.
And I think we all missed on our money pick last week, right? There were huge upsets everywhere. But I mean, it's so rare that we all missed on our money pick, the sure game we thought was going to happen.
Jaguars.
Yeah.
Hold
over
the Bills to 6 points.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Unreal. All right, this week's picks. I have got the Ravens over the Dolphins, and that's my money pick.
I've got the Ravens.
Is that your money pick?
Nope.
Good. I wanted a different money pick than you because it's time for me to make up some ground. Cowboys over the Falcons.
I got Cowboys.
Jets or the Bills?
I got the Bills.
As do I. Browns or Patriots?
I got the Patriots.
I got the Browns, so we got one different
okay.
there. Lions or the Steelers?
Steelers.
I got the Lions.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
kidding. I got the Steelers.
Man. You heard him say it.
No, Steelers right there, baby. Don't even try it. I will get upset. Jaguars or the Colts? Colts. I got the Titans over the Saints.
I've got the Titans.
Buccaneers or the Washington football team?
I've got the Bucs, and they're my money pick.
Nice. I've got the Bucs as well. How stupid is that, the Washington football team?
Stupid.
Oh, just crazy. All right, Carolina or Arizona?
I got the Cards.
As do I. Vikings or the Chargers?
Chargers.
You already know who I got.
You got
I got
the
the
Vikes,
Vikings,
huh?
baby. Tell you what, they almost won again against the Ravens.
They keep almost winning.
They had two score leads in that game and could not close it out. All right, the Eagles or the Broncos?
I got the Broncos.
I got the Eagles.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a letdown for the Broncos after a big win. They trade Von Miller. Then they have a huge win over the Cowboys.
Yeah, they kick
I think
the
they're going to
Cowboys'
slip.
butt
I think they're going to slip up against the Eagles.
Could happen.
Seahawks, who should get Russell Wilson back, or the Packers, who
I took the
might
Packers.
have Aaron
Right.
Rodgers
May
back.
or may not, yeah.
He's supposed to be allowed back in the building on Saturday, which would mean he would be ready for the Sunday afternoon game. I also have the Packers
Do
in
you?
that
Okay,
one.
cool.
All right, so the Chiefs travel to the Raiders.
I got Kansas City.
As do I, baby.
Okay, there you
Chiefs
go.
going to win their third in a row and take over first place in the division because they could. If they beat the Raiders and the Chargers lose to Vikings, I think Kansas City would be at first place in that division.
As bad as they played, they're only half game out of first place.
I told you. Everyone needs to calm down. Even though it hasn't looked pretty, they're still right there. And then in the Monday night game, the Rams and the 49ers, I got the Rams.
I got the Rams as well. So we're different on 3 picks this week, and our money pick is
I got to always save those just to make sure you don't, do anything weird like, no, I said my money pick. No, you didn't, bro. Okay?
Right.
All right, so funny story of the week. I've held off on this for a while, so I want to get this in. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Unky Chris? All right, so a nun, badly needing to use the restroom, walked into a local Hooters. The place was hopping with music and loud conversation, and every once in a while, the lights would turn off. Each time the lights would go out, the place would erupt into cheers. People went nuts. However, when the revelers saw the nun, the room went dead silent. She walked up to the bartender and asked, "May I please use the restroom?" The bartender politely replied, "Okay, but I should warn you, there's a statue of a naked man in there wearing only a fig leaf." "Well, in that case, I'll just look the other way," said the nun. So the bartender showed the nun to the back of the restaurant. After a few minutes, the nun came out, and the whole place stopped just long enough to give the nun a loud round of applause. She went to the bartender and said, "Sir, I don't understand. Why did they applaud for me just because I went to the restroom?" "Well, now, they know you're one of us," said the bartender. "Would you like a drink?" "No, thank you, but I still don't understand," said the nun, absolutely puzzled. "You see," laughed the bartender, "every time someone lifts the fig leaf on that statue, the lights go out. Now how about that drink?" That dirty nun. You knew what she was doing.
Wow.
That is funny. You didn't like that one?
That's all right.
All right, upcoming events. You can go to funlake.com/events to see an entire rundown of things. Get ready for the Gala of Trees. That starts at Wobbly Boots on November 18th.
That's coming.
We love that event, and that is right around the corner. But for all other events with details, go to funlake.com/events, and lots happening on Lake TV. On the Community Spotlight, you have athletic director from Eldon, Brett Keel.
Yep, Brent Kell is there. And next week, as we mentioned earlier, Jane and Scotty Martin from Scott's Concrete. They do a whole lot of neat stuff for this community.
Heck yeah, they do.
So we'll help tell you about that. So that's all coming up on the Spotlight Show.
And then on What's Burnin' continues, Jason Jones will be KB's guest this week, and also pretty cool Key Radio feature that you could see, and then a sneak peek into an Iron Eagle tactical gun series they're doing with Tom Abbott right around the corner. And of course, get ready for high school basketball season, my friends. Not only do we have the Coaches Show, which will debut on Tuesday, October 7th. Chris has 7 local coaches that'll be in. Our first game is on the 10th of December, Tipton at Versailles. You get ready for that. Well, that's a wrap this week. Big shout out to Jill Ray and her crew, our crew. This is Wild. No, this is Uncle Chris.
I'm Uncle.
I'm
You're
Wild
Wild.
Will. Until next week, my friends. We'll see you then.